This movie has the thinnest of threadbare plots, and even though the movie is 80 minutes long, nearly none of those minutes are suitable for YouTube. So this is going to be short, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes all you need is a few minutes to get the job done, if you know what you're doing. Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob, and today I'm taking a look at Southern Comforts from 1971. In the early 1970s, Bethel Buckalew made a number of these Southern fried exploitation sex comedies for Harry Novak's Box Office International. And considering there were like 6 of these things, they must have been pretty good money makers, which I suppose isn't surprising. In the early 1970s, porn was replacing sexploitation films, but that replacement was mostly happening in the big cities. The Southern drive-in market was still a good source of income for exploitation filmmakers, and I'm sure these films fit comfortably in that market. Probably didn't even need any Kentucky jelly. And I've talked about a few of these films on the channel before, most recently with Midnight Cowboy, and then a few months or maybe a year back, The Pigkeeper's Daughter. So let's check out the third best one. We open on some ladies in a convertible. As with the other films in this series, we get some very lo-fi opening titles. And before the titles are even over, one of the ladies gets her titles out, and that's nothing you can see here on YouTube.
Man, I just work here.
But of course, we don't have to stay here. You can now support the channel on Patreon and get access to spicy versions of my reviews. Link is in the description. After those lovely opening titles, the car turns down a dusty road. Apparently, in the South, this is a gas station. This station attendant is a bit less than erudite.
Where's the John?
John? Don't think I know him, ma'am.
She means the can, Manon. You know, the toilet.
Sorry, ma'am. It's out back.
The ladies and the gentleman driver talk about the beauty pageant that never happened, and then they're back out on the road. The music tells us that the law is after them. When their car overheats, the guy gets some water and the girls go skinny dipping. Yeah, I'm sure there's a plot around here somewhere. Well, further car troubles bring them to this farm. Oh, and there he is, John Tull as Junior. He was last on the channel in another one of these romps, Midnight Plowboy. The kindly farmer offers them his barn until they can get their car fixed. He also offers them the barn as a location for their pageant. For a cut of the door, naturally. But first, the girls have a roll in the hay, if you're watching on Patreon. Okay, and then the driver heads out to try to secure some talents for his pageant. Meanwhile, Junior is seduced most forcefully by some of the gals who remain behind, and what a behind it is. And there's really not much else to say about this movie as far as plot goes. That pageant will happen, which is nothing more than about 10 ladies taking their clothes off and posing. So it's way better than most pageants. The sheriff that was mentioned earlier in the music, he'll show up. And in between all that, every opportunity will be taken to get people out of their clothes.
Now this is my kind of movie.
So let's talk some highlights. Well, those people out of their clothes is the highlight. For me, personally, the highlight of those highlights is Monica Gayle. She is stunning.
She appeals to me.
And she's one of the few people in this thing that you might recognize. She played Patch in the Jack Hill classic, Switchblade Sisters. But everyone here is beautiful, so there's no shortage of options if Monica doesn't do it for you. The blonde reminded me of Jennifer Wells, but she's not Jennifer Wells, and in truth, she's no Jennifer Wells. By the way, if you haven't seen Confessions of a Young American Housewife, do yourself a favor. You can thank me later, after you rehydrate. Beyond the ladies, there is some humor here worthy of a chuckle or two. Most, or maybe even all of that humor is due to John Tull. That dude is pretty funny. But despite the unclothed people and the pretty funny John Tull, the movie isn't perfect. Like a farm boy spying in a hayloft, this film has some shortcomings. Well, of the 6 or so Southern fried exploitation sex romps that Bethel Buckalew made for Harry Novak, this one is not the best, but it's not the worst. It does pretty well in the sexy department, lots of scenes, many of which are outdoors, many of which involve nice looking tan lines, and that's all pretty great. But where it really suffers is in the humor department. The main source of humor is supposed to be the owner of the farm, and his shtick is to use lots of highfalutin words.
Good people, my errant son has informed me of your artistic dilemma. May I suggest that my barn has some of the qualifications of the Parthenon? Why not display your pulchritude here for the edification of the yokels?
Big words in a southern accent, that's the joke, and it's not a very good joke. I mean, would it be funny if I used small words? No. And it's all too bad because John Tull is here, who is charming and naturally funny, but here he is way underutilized. Another joke with the farmer that doesn't quite work is the one in which he gets a local black girl to be in the pageant, who for some reason later isn't even in the pageant, but that doesn't really matter. Anyway, the conversation with the other farmer plays out like she's a slave, and it really just doesn't quite land. Which again, is pretty disappointing. There weren't very many black actresses in these 60s or 70s sexploitation films, and it's disappointing she didn't get a better scene. Anyway, if you're looking for sexy, watch The Pig Keeper's Daughter. And if you want a little bit more funny, watch Midnight Plowboy. After that, if you still want even more goofy, southern-themed sex comedy, then this one is maybe third best. Maybe. Colleen Brennan is in Sassy Sue, and Renee Bond is in Country Cousin, so if you're a big fan of either of those, then maybe check out their movie. But no matter how you slice it, there were 6 of these things in a 4-year period, and they do run out of steam. Which isn't surprising, because that's what happens when you release too much in a short amount of time.